A couple games in, we're in a good place. Guys are getting better. I think we're showing. I think what's really showing is our experience and veteran team. We got to tighten up some things on defense, some coverages that teams could exploit a little bit, and we'll clean that up today in practice. Ball screen defense, just some driving space, one-on-one opportunities. I thought Wagner took advantage of. We got to tighten it up. Offensively, I thought just little pockets, little spurts where the ball stuck a little bit or we over dribbled, and we need to really ball movement, player movement. I think if we do that, we'll continue to put pressure on the paint. And then the last thing that we're going to work on before Georgetown is got to take pride in special teams, baseline out of bounds, sideline out of bounds, and end line out of bounds. Just tightening up our three-quarter court press, our defense baseline out of bounds. Just tightening some things up there. But I think we showed our depth for sure with Lamar Stevens being out with his third foul. I thought Seth Lundy really came in and gave us productive minutes. I thought our bench gave us productive minutes. I think we showed our firepower.
So speaking of Seth, I assume that you never really know exactly what you're going to get once a kid gets to campus, even though you recruit him and you feel like you know him and so on and so forth. Where is he against, in terms of your vision, where does he align with where you thought he would be at this point in his career?
He's definitely ahead, and I say that he has the luxury of veteran guys in front of him. I don't know if we've ever had this type of experience. You know, I said it the other night. We typically have to start freshmen. Last year, freshmen had to start and come off the bench first and play critical minutes, specifically at the guard spot, where this year you're coming off with Brockington, who's a redshirt sophomore, Curtis Jones, who's a senior. So you have some depth and some vets where you can be patient with Seth Lundy and kind of plug him in when you feel whatever you need for that game, but still work with him in practice and bring him along slowly instead of throwing him right into the fire like we've done for 8 years. So it's a little bit of a luxury. I'm sure Seth would rather have it the other way, but he is Big Ten ready. His body is every bit of 215, 217. He's every bit of 6'7". He is strong. He is tough. You saw his capability beyond the arc. We tried to post him up a couple times. I think you saw that as well. He got to the free throw line on a post up. Definitely, he's able to score on all three levels. Really exciting for us moving forward.
Pat, when you look at the makeup of the backcourt that you've been starting so far, Jamari kind of the traditional one, Miles kind of a traditional two, and then Myron can kind of play both spots and be versatile. How comfortable is he filling in wherever you need him to be?
MJ totally gets it. He knows when he's off the ball, he's got to look to score. When he's on the ball, he's got to manage and run the team and make everybody better, but look for his opportunities as well. He's playing really consistent basketball. Second half of the West Virginia secret scrimmage, I mean, he has really played well. Delaware, I thought he played strong, and then these first two games, just real consistent on both ends. Obviously, you always want more, but for a kid who only averaged, 7 or 8 minutes last year total, he's put on the weight he has needed to put on, and you can see he's developed. His jump shot has been very good so far.
Coach, how's it going?
How you doing?
Doing well. Can you just talk about the opportunity this early in the season for your program to go play a team like Georgetown at a big-time NBA arena, Game 3?
Yeah, but you're right on your last statement. It's Game 3. There's a lot of basketball to be played, so I'm not going to put all my stock into one game. But it is Georgetown. It's on the road, and it's going to be a great litmus test of where we are and what we have to work on. And it's going to be fun to see us compete on the road and see if this experience that we've had over these last few years really shines. Georgetown's going to be feisty. They're going to be ready to go. I think they're top 25 last time I checked. So it's going to be an incredible game for us. And after the game, we're going to know exactly where we are and what we need to work on moving forward. We got to continue to get better. And that's got to be the goal this week. As James Franklin said, 1-0, baby, 1-0.
Coach, early in the first half when you guys were trying to get the offense going, one thing that kind of stuck out was the free throw line struggles, and that was kind of an issue at times last year. What are you guys trying to do to combat that right now?
Not talk about it. It's all between the ears. We shoot, ask Jimmy Ferry, we shoot more free throws than any team in Division I basketball. We just got to be comfortable going there. I think the more we get there, the more we'll be relaxed and we'll start to see the ball go through the basket. But there's no Jedi mind tricks. You just got to go up there, positive thoughts, positive outcomes, stick to your routine, and not worry about what's outside the lines. I think sometimes we do that. So if we can micro-focus on our routine, we'll start to see. We're going to need that on the road. You can't win at a high level on the road this Thursday in the Big Ten if you don't make free throws. So it's definitely going to be something that we'll be working on all week.
Dave Gavitt kind of really took Northeast basketball to the next level, and obviously these are the Gavitt games. How much education do you give to your guys about what this game kind of represents? I know it's just Game 3, but just the significance behind playing in something called the Gavitt game.
Yeah, I will definitely tap into it a little bit. Coming from the Big East myself, obviously it started way before I was there in late 70s, early 80s. But what an incredible job he did, what vision he had to make the Big East of really what it was and what it is today. I mean, man, you can remember so many games. Well, Patrick Ewing was involved in a lot of those games. A good friend of mine, Eddie Pinckney, was involved in a lot of those games. Chris Mullen was involved in a lot of those games. So it was really, to me, as a youngster, you're watching those games growing up, wanting to be a part of that. And then you get the opportunity when you get the job at Villanova to be a part of that. So I think it's important for them to know what vision, a pioneer that Gavitt was.
Any other questions for Coach Chambers?
Miles, we kind of saw both the good and the bad over the first two games, knocking down threes in the first and struggling in the second. Is there a number that you want him to get at in terms of attempts per game, or is it mostly just taking what the defense
You know
gives
what?
him?
It's really feel. He's got to take what the defense gives him. I don't want him to force it. I don't think he forced any. I watched all of his threes. I thought for him, they're really good shots. They're in rhythm. We have rebounders in there. The ones that I don't like are the ones where we don't have any rebounders. So it's as good as a turnover when you don't have at least Mike or John in there, or Lamar or Brock. We got to make sure we have a couple rebounders before we take a quick one. But for the most part, I thought Miles' shots were good. I mean, what are we shooting? We're at almost 38% from three right now. We made 12 and 11 the first two games. I mean, that's really productive for us, very positive.
What level of stress do you put, or the impetus on getting Mike involved and keeping Mike involved offensively?
Yeah, I thought he had some early touches. They didn't go his way early on. I pulled him early because of ball screen defense and lack of communication. But we need to continue to feed Mike, and we need to continue to look for Mike because he's one of the best rim runners in the country with his speed and his athleticism. And he's a great roll guy in ball screen. So we definitely got to give him the ball. And, you can see he's extending his range a little bit out to 10, 12 feet. And he's worked on that. I've told him he can shoot threes as well. Time and score, and situation, obviously. But he's developing his game. But we need to keep him involved. He needs to get touches. The one thing, I know he had a couple turnovers the other day. One was a moving screen. But he is a really good passer. I mean, so is John. Our fives can pass the ball. So if they can be a threat at distributing, that just makes us that much more difficult to guard.
Coach, I think it's obvious that Jamari and Isaiah are probably the two best perimeter defenders on the team. How does it help you guys out and change the way you guys can play when Isaiah comes and gives you double digits again? Jamari goes out and drains 2 threes when that's something he's been working on for a long time. Yeah,
I think it starts on the defensive end for those two. As long as they're in tune and bringing great energy and focus to what we need to do and impact the game on the defensive end and rebound, then those guys are off to the races. I think one thing was very glaring to me watching the film was our speed. They had a couple odd man rushes, like a 3-on-2 or a 3-on-1 or a 4-on-3, and the way our guys sprint back and get back in front of the ball really prevented them from getting easy baskets. And you can almost see them a little bit deflated and defeated because they didn't get the easy one they thought they were able to get, and they'd have to set up again. So I think that, to me, with Jamari and Brock specifically, there's two great defenders with a heck of a lot of speed. And Brock can score the ball. I mean, I think he showed you can score it in a lot of different ways, which is exciting. I just got to get Curtis. Next time you ask me that question or make that statement, we got to get Curtis Jones playing like that too, because I don't know if you guys realize how fast he is and how athletic he is.
First 2 games, you guys were the better team on the court on paper, and you showed that. Thursday, there's going to be probably some adversity as you're going up against a comparable opponent against Georgetown. How do you prepare your team for the adversity that will hit at some point during the game?
Yeah, we've been working on that for months. It's really about our attitude. That's our foundation. There's things that are going to happen in a game you have no control over. Missing shots, referees, just substitution pattern, me getting on you. There's just so much that can go on in a game that could challenge your attitude. Next play mentality, let's get it done on the defensive end. Let's make sure we rebound, and we gotta do a better job executing. So if we can do those things, we'll put ourselves in position.
One follow-up on Mike. Sorry, I didn't
No
ask
worries.
it right away. But you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think at the preseason media day, you might have called him a mismatch, that he presents a mismatch for
Sure.
most of the teams that you're going to face.
Yeah.
Does he see himself that way? Does he view himself that way?
If he doesn't, I tell him all the time. Now this Thursday is
working?
this Thursday is going to be a challenge for him. You got Yurt-7, who we saw at NC State. We're probably one of the only few teams, that they're going to play that have seen him already. He's a big time player with a lot of skill. He's shooting at a very high percentage right now. Hasn't taken any threes, but he hit 3 threes against us, I believe, the last time we played him. So don't think we don't know you shoot threes. We know. So we'll be ready for that. But Mike should be able to beat him up and down the floor. It's going to be a great competition between those two guys.
Pat, in a couple weeks, we're going to be having an edition about kind of the year or the decade in review, and you've been at Penn State now for this your 9th year. Just curious, where have you seen the biggest changes in this program from the time you took the job to now?
Wow, decade in review. Are you kidding me? Look, I think our recruiting has gotten better. The first few years were challenging. They were challenging. That's fact. So once we got through that, I don't think you're ever going to get through that, but once we got over the hump a little bit, I thought recruiting got better. I think our facilities, some of the upgrades that we have done, and we have more upgrades coming in April 2020, which is fantastic. I think the branding and the concourse for us was big. All these little things that you guys might not see or might not recognize unless I tell you. I mean, to me, they're little successes. They're minor victories to get us where we are today with a veteran team, older team that has a chance to be very, very successful. We've developed a pro. I mean, they didn't have a pro for a long time, and Timmy Frazier. We had somebody drafted. We haven't had that in 20 years. Josh Reeves is on the Mavericks. He's a two-way player right now. He's going to get his opportunity. So that's multiple guys from this program in the NBA. That shows player development. ESPN put out a stat. We were seventh as far as developing players. Really positive stuff. You saw our statistics as far as graduation success rate. Huge, big-time stuff. We won an NIT championship. That's not easy to do. Some people take an NIT championship lightly. I do not. That is hard to do. Mentally, physically, that was really challenging. Couldn't be more, not getting into the tournament and then having to talk to your guys about competing versus Temple 2 days later. Really, really one of the most challenging things I've ever done or experienced as a head coach. So I feel like we're competing day in and day out versus some of the best teams in the country. And I think we're in a good space. We just have to keep it going. Now we have to prove it. Now we have the talent to do it. Now we got to go out and get it done. I don't know if that answers the decade, but I tried to put it all together by checking some boxes.
I was gonna say, can we put together a few more?
Yeah,
Can we put together a few more
It's
things
so
for you?
open-ended. I hope I hit everything there. I'm really proud. I'm really proud of what we've accomplished here. And maybe, we get judged by NCAA tournaments. If you really look at the record and look at what we've done holistically, graduation success rate-wise, and what these kids are doing in life after Penn State, and what we were able to do. We used to lose by 20 and 30 points. It's not the case anymore. Nobody takes us lightly anymore. We're not the hunters all the time. We're the hunted now. I'll give you a great example. Illinois, I saw Illinois media today. They were coming up to me saying, "We can't wait to play you." That's a big switch. A big switch. So I think we're putting this program exactly where it needs to be on a national stage.
I think that's a good place to wrap it up.
That's a mic drop, Nate.
Thanks, Coach.
Sorry, I got a little excited there.
It's totally okay.